Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Jujutsu Kaisen. Gojo family swordsmith refuses to be cut in half. Chapter 21. Gojo Satoru glanced at Gojo Shangyan. He knew that there were curse faction and veteran faction within the family. For him, both factions were actually his supporters. The only difference between the two factions is that the curse faction is hostile to Gojo Ming and always believes that the twins are curse. The elders, on the other hand, completely followed the family leader's ideas. They were not hostile to Gojo Ming, but they did not pay attention to Gojo Ming either. What showed was a kind of indifference. However, because of the Zanpakuto incident that occurred a week ago, many members of the elder clan learned about the family leader's thoughts, and their attitude towards Gojo Ming changed. At the same time, during this period of time, they learned that the forge house exploded 4 times, and each time they thought the owner would severely punish Gojo Ming. The head of the house just said a word and repaired the forging house as quickly as possible. This kind of thing completely made them realize how much Gojo Ming valued the house owner at this time. Moreover, Gojo Shunichi, the mainstay of the curse faction, has begun personally tutoring Gojo Ming Kendo. This kind of thing has subverted the imagination of many veteran factions. Therefore, from a week ago, many veterans already knew that Gojo was special. If Gojo Satoru and Gojo Naru are really talented, then there is no need to worry about the future of the Gojo family. Close black lens bracket. This is the thinking of the veterans of the scene. However, they now have no say in this gathering and can only watch how Gojo Shangyan prepares to host this Jujutsu Master family gathering. Because of Gojo Shangyan's loud voice like a bear, Gojo Ming came out of his daze. He saw everyone's eyes focused on him and Gojo Satoru, and knew that the entire party was about to officially begin. Holding Soda Shirayuki in his hand, he stepped back and gave the stage to Gojo Satoru. At this party, everyone came to see Gojo Satoru. As for himself, the pseudo 6 eyes, he was often just an addition. Under the introduction of Gojo Shangyan, Gojo Satoru knew the names of the 3 people Gojo Ming was paying attention to. Ieri Shoko, Okatsu Traveler, Zenin. Gojo Satoru didn't know much about Ieri and Okatsu, but he still heard about the Zenin family, which is as famous as the Gojo family. The magic power escaping from the bodies of Ieri Shoko and Okatsu allowed Gojo Satoru to clearly feel their potential. It's not surprising that these 2 people would be noticed by Gojo Ming, but why is Zenin Sheer also attracted by Gojo Ming? Obviously, this Zenin is an ordinary person. Gojo Satoru didn't feel the slightest bit of spell power from Zenin. It's really strange. What do those words Ming said before mean? Why does Ming think he can become friends with Zenin? Close black lens bracket. Just as Gojo Ming expected, Gojo Shangyan only introduced Gojo Satoru emphatically, and just mentioned himself in 1 word. However, this has no impact on Gojo Ming. His ultimate purpose here is to get to know Zenin, Ieri Shoko and Okatsu Yugito, which is a surprise. Therefore, after the party was free to move around, he immediately approached Zenin. Sure, Gojo Ming's name shocked Zenin. Gojo's 6 eyes kid. Zenin never expected that Gojo Ming would directly call him by his name, and he also distinguished Gojo Ming's identity from the katana held in Gojo Ming's hand. You kid, you actually know my name. Gojo, right, what's the problem? Zenin raised his eyebrows slightly and looked at Gojo Ming. Around Zenin, other members of the Zenin family also gathered around. They did not have the same senses as Zenin, so they did not remember the characteristics of Gojo's cry. After seeing Gojo Naruto appear, they mistakenly mistake Gojo Naruto for Gojo Satoru. Master Gojo, I suggest you not to have contact with this person. He is the carrier of heavenly restriction. He is a waste. He has no magic power at all. He is not worthy of being associated with a big man like you. Zenin Shinsuke on the side suddenly spoke and intervened in the conversation between Gojo Ming and Zenin Shiji. Gojo Ming frowned slightly at such an impolite move, a little curious about this person's identity. Moreover, why Zenin didn't even have the slightest intention to refute. Who are you? Why are you interrupting? Gojo Ming did not save any face for Zenin Shinsuke. The only one he cared about in the entire Zenin family was Zenin Shinji, and he ignored everyone else. Seeing that Gojo Ming didn't know who he was, Zenin Shinsuke's expression froze. In his opinion, as the most talented person among the younger generation of the Zenin family, how could Gojo Satoru not recognize him? Moreover, Gojo Shangyan also introduced himself just now. Why can the six eyes in front of him remember Zenin, but cannot remember his own name? A trace of anger appeared on Zenin Shinsuke's face. Master Gojo, I am Zenin Shinsuke, and I am the representative of the Zenin family this time. Out of family etiquette, Zenin kept his emotions calm and introduced himself again. Gojo Ming listened to the name and searched in his memory. Well, I really haven't heard of this name. In the original storyline, it didn't even have any sense of existence. This means that this person will either become mediocre in the future, or he may die young. Zenin Shinsuke, right, I really don't know him. Gojo Ming nodded to Zenin Shinsuke and turned his attention to Zenin Shear again. His time is also very limited, and he has no time to waste on irrelevant people. As the words fell, Gojo Ming stretched out his immature right hand towards Zenin. Zenin, I think you are very good. Make friends. Gojo Ming's disregard and differential treatment suddenly ignited Zenin Shinsuke's emotions. Zenin looked at Gojo Ming's little hand and felt a little overwhelmed. What's the situation? A 6-year-old child actually wants to be friends with me. Zenin touched his face, full of doubts in his heart. Is he very popular with children like this? Although he is not as ugly as she, his expression should be intimidating to strangers, right? This kind of thing was completely beyond his expectation. However, from Gojo Ming's point of view, he was going to hold hands with Zenin Shear first. As for the life of this tyrant of heaven and earth, it would be better for him to get involved this morning. As long as you become friends with Zenin, then there will be a topic for all subsequent exchanges. However, when Zenin was hesitant about how to respond to Gojo Ming, Zenin Shinsuke, who was ignored by Gojo Ming, once again interrupted Gojo Ming's friendship process. Master Gojo, Zenin is a waste. A person without magic power is not worthy of your acquaintance. As the six eyes of the Gojo family, people with heavenly restriction are not qualified to be your friends. Zenin Shinsuke's face showed strong dissatisfaction. He didn't understand why six eyes from the Gojo family cared so much about Zenin. It's obvious that Zenin is a waste with no magic power at all. On the other side, Gojo Ming's expression was full of displeasure when he was interrupted again by Zenin Shinsuke. Gojo Shunichi, who had been guarding Gojo Ming's side, now looked bad. Although Zenin Shinsuke had been saying that Zenin was a waste, in his opinion, this also implied that Gojo Ming was also a waste. Doesn't this person know that he is facing someone who also possesses heavenly restriction and has no spell power at all? Gojo Shunyi was about to take action, but Gojo Ming stopped him. He first needs to get Zenin's approval. He didn't know why Zenin was so indifferent and allowed Zenin Shinsuke to slander him like this. But at the moment, this person had not directly offended him. As a member of the Gojo family, he could not express his opinion casually. However, his silence was completely misunderstood by Zenin Shinsuke. Master Gojo, you must have the same idea as me, right? A person without magical power has no meaning in the world of Jujutsu. The world of Jujutsu is the world of Jujutsu masters. We all belong to the three major families. You must be able to understand the peak power of Jujutsu masters, right? Gojo Ming's silence was taken as acquiescence by Zenin Shinsuke. Zenin Shinsuke's expression became more and more outrageous, and his slander against Zenin Shear became even more brazen. And until he said that sentence. In the world of Jujutsu, heavenly restriction only entangles trash. Suddenly, a powerful spell appeared between Gojo Ming and Zenin Shinsuke. Heavenly restriction is trash. Gojo Satoru's face was full of indifference, and his pair of blue eyes stared at Zenin Shinsuke. What qualifications do you have to make such a comment? Gojo Satoru's loud voice, coupled with his special status as six eyes, immediately attracted the attention of everyone in the venue. Ieri Shoko, Okatsu Traveler, Zenin Fan, Gojo Bear Flame. Many people subconsciously turned to look at Gojo Satoru. The venue suddenly fell into silence. People from the other families didn't know why Gojo Satoru was so angry, but the people from the Gojo family understood that this sentence completely touched Gojo Satoru's back scale. Gojo Ming is the carrier of heavenly restriction. Zenin Shinsuke's words were undoubtedly insulting to Gojo Ming. No, I'm not. No, you are Gojo Satoru. Under the pressure of Gojo Satoru's momentum, Zenin Shinsuke subconsciously took 2 steps back, his face full of shock. He had always known how powerful Gojo's 6 eyes were, but he did not expect that as a 3rd-level Jujutsu master, he would be overwhelmed by the aura of a 6-year-old child. I actually misidentified the person. The child from before was not Gojo Satoru, he was Gojo Naru. Zenin Shinsuke seemed to understand something. He understood why Gojo Ming took the initiative to befriend Zenin. He understood why Gojo Satoru appeared very angry after he said these words. He understood why Gojo Shangyan didn't introduce Six Eyes Gojo Ming at all, and he felt like he wanted to ignore it. I see. Gojo Ming, you are also the carrier of heavenly restriction. Zenin Shinsuke's speculation caused an uproar in the entire venue. Ieri Shoko, Okatsu Yujin and Zenin Fan all focused their attention on Gojo Naru. Heavenly restriction. Another 6 eyes of the Gojo family turned out to be the carrier of heavenly restriction. This sounds very unreasonable, but all this unreasonableness seems natural under the different treatment of the Gojo family. The moment Zenin heard the words heavenly restriction, he finally understood why he recognized Gojo Ming so much. It turns out that the 2 of them are suffering from the same problem. Born in the same 3 major families, people in the same family attach great importance to the Jujutsu master with magical power, and they are also discriminated against by the entire family. I see. So, did the 6-year-old boy in front of him find out that he was just like him, so he took the initiative to look for it? A smile appeared on Zenin's indifferent face. He looked at Gojo Ming quietly, looking forward to how Gojo Ming would resolve this matter. He was looking forward to this special being who possessed both 6 eyes and heavenly restriction to teach him, the leader of his generation, a lesson. Gojo Naru, if it's you, you should be able to do it. Zenin whispered in a voice that only he could hear. Sorry, your name is Zenin Shinsuke, right? You must have recognized me wrong just now. Is it true that you recognized me as wrong? Gojo Ming looked at Zenin Shinsuke with a smile, and his tone was full of ridicule. Yes, I am Gojo Naru. I am not a genius jujutsu master like Satoru. I have no spell power. I am the carrier of heavenly restriction. I am the trash you call me. Hearing Gojo Naruto belittle himself in this way, Gojo Satoru and Gojo Shunichi were filled with emotions and did not agree with this point of view. However, Gojo Ming did not reach out to stop their movements at this time. I saw Gojo Naru holding Soda Shirayuki in his hand and making a gesture of drawing a sword towards Zenin Shinsuke. Junin Shinsuke, do you think you can defeat me without the power of a curse? You don't really think that you can represent the younger generation of the Zenin family, do you? What you just said was a provocation to me. The dignity of the Gojo family cannot be trampled on, not even by the Zenin family. Let me, this waste, subvert your shallow understanding. Zenin Shinsuke, I challenge you to a 3-goal duel. The 3 royal duel is a custom that has been passed down from ancient times to the present day among the 3 major families. In order to avoid losing the high-end combat power in the Jujutsu world, when members of the 3 major families have conflicts, they can apply for a 3-goal duel. The 3 royal duel represents the testimony of both sides of the conflict between the 2 families. No matter what the final outcome is, as long as the duel between the 3 emperors is over, the 2 families will return to normal relations, and the cooperation between them will not be affected. Now Gojo Naru seizes this opportunity. If I can defeat Zenin Shinsuke in the 3-goal duel, it means helping Zenin Shinji take revenge. Although Zenin did not express his disgust towards Zenin Shinsuke, in this situation, anyone would probably feel unhappy, right? Close black lens bracket. Just think of it as a way to clear your name for the heavenly restriction. Close black lens bracket. 3 royal duels. Zenin Shinsuke never expected that he would hear such an unfamiliar word from Gojo Naru's mouth. Although this kind of duel has not happened for a long time, the core members of the 3 major families have always understood this custom, and Zenin Shinsuke is no exception. What he couldn't understand was that Gojo Ming actually challenged him to a duel because of such a thing. He admitted that Gojo Satoru was very strong, and his speed and spell strength had surpassed him in all aspects. However, it was not Gojo Satoru who initiated the 3-go duel, but Gojo Naru. How could a 6-year-old boy with the same heavenly restriction as Zenin and the inability to use spells defeat a third-level Jujutsu master like him? Zenin Shinsuke's face was full of anger. He felt that he was looked down upon by Gojo Ming. You have no magic power. If I fight you, I'm just bullying you. Zenin Shinsuke also has the unique pride of the Zenin family. Although he hates Zenin Shear who has heavenly restriction, he has never bullied Zenin Shear. At this moment, although he was dissatisfied, he was still unwilling to use his third-level Jujutsu master's strength to bully Gojo Ming. I reject. Zenin Shinsuke's refusal is reasonable. However, Gojo Satoru on the side was not willing to let Zenin Shinsuke escape so easily. You have just insulted my brother. This has met the prerequisites for the 3 royal duel. Therefore, the duel has been established and your refusal is not allowed. Gojo Satoru has been very confident in Gojo Naru's strength since he saw Sota Shirayuki's strength last time. Although Zenin Shinsuke is also very strong, a third-level Jujutsu master should not be afraid of Sota Shirayuki. Originally, if Gojo Naru himself did not propose this duel, Gojo Satoru would personally take action to teach this rude guy a lesson. However, now that Gojo Ming is ready to take action himself, he is naturally willing to give up the stage. Under the pressure of Gojo Satoru, Zenin Shinsuke finally had no choice but to agree to this duel. Master Gojo, please don't blame me for bullying the small this time. I don't know what cards you have, but in front of Jujutsu masters, people without magic power are simply ants. Zenin Shinsuke's eyes flashed with a hint of coldness. As the most talented member of the younger generation of the Zenin family, he has never been afraid of Jujutsu fighting. Rather, he may not be very good at other aspects, but when it comes to Jujutsu fighting, he can be said to be very proficient. Zenin Shinsuke's heart was completely unmoved by the 3-goal duel announced by Gojo Ming. Since 6 Eyes of the Gojo family wants to be embarrassed, he doesn't care too much about the Gojo family's face. Finally, in front of Zenin Shan, Gojo Shongyan, and Ieri Inamitsu, who was inexplicably pulled as a witness just after appearing, the 3 royal duel was officially concluded. Shoko, what happened? Why did the 3-go duel happen? Ieri Inamitsu is still in the dark. This time, he only brought Shoko to heal the head of the Gojo family. He never thought that he would be involved in the 3 sorcerer duels of the big 3 sorcerer families. Isn't this just an ordinary Jujutsu master family gathering? Why did it eventually lead to a duel between 3 emperors? Facing his father's doubts, Ieri Shoko explained in a low voice what had just happened. When he learned that Gojo Ming was the owner of Heavenly Restriction, a hint of shock appeared on Ieri Inamitsu's face. He finally understood what the previous words of Gojo's head during treatment meant. You actually want Gojo Naru and Shoko to make an engagement. Close black lens bracket. Ieri Inamitsu's face was filled with uncertainty. He also realized that the Gojo family should know about Shoko's talent in reversal techniques, so they hoped to use a 6 Eyes for marriage. If the person who entered into a marriage contract with Shoko was Gojo Satoru, the true 6 Eyes, then he would definitely agree with both hands and feet. However, tell him now that although Gojo Naru possesses 6 Eyes, he still has heavenly restriction and will not be able to become a Jujutsu master in the future. This kind of thing is absolutely unacceptable to the Ieri family. He didn't want his daughter to marry an ordinary person who couldn't use spells. What's more, this ordinary person seems to be a little ignorant, and he actually wants to fight against a 3rd-level Jujutsu master with the power of a mortal. And he completely ignored the age gap between the 2 people. At this moment, in Ieri Inamitsu's heart, Gojo Ming has been labeled as arrogant. However, unlike his father, Ieri Shoko seemed to be able to sense what was special about Gojo Ming. Although there was no magic power, Shoko's eyes always stayed on Gojo's sword. Is Gojo Ming someone familiar with kendo? Although I can feel the extraordinary power of this sword, can this kendo really compare to Jujutsu? Close black lens bracket. Ieri Shoko didn't quite understand, but she was looking forward to Gojo Ming's performance in the future. The idea that the power of magic is king is not so correct in Shoko's mind. On the other side, Zenin Fan and Gojo Shongyan didn't feel embarrassed at all because Gojo Ming and Zenin Shinsuke were facing each other. Both people have their own goals and core demands. Gojo Ming was not originally Gojo Shongyan's favorite character, so he didn't really care whether he lost or won. As long as Gojo Satoru can grow up smoothly, Gojo Ming's fallen prestige will one day rise again. For Zenin fan, Zenin Shinsuke is just a junior with some qualifications. His eyes have not been on his juniors. He is thinking more about how to increase his influence through this matter. His goal has always been to become the future head of the Zenin family. On the Gojo family's school grounds, Gojo Naru and Zenin Shinsuke faced each other. Zenin watched everything with great interest. He rarely showed his strength in front of others, but he knew that Zenin Shinsuke was no match for him. However, he is also looking forward to what kind of fighting style the heavenly restriction bearer of the Gojo family will have. Is it like myself, who can directly crush it with strong physical strength? That shouldn't be the case, right? Gojo Naru is only 6 years old and should not be able to exert the full power of her body. So in that case, what kind of trump card does Gojo Ming have? Other members of the Gojo family also gathered around to watch, but like Ieri Shoko, their eyes were all fixed on the Soda Shirayuki in Gojo Naru's hand. A week ago, they heard that Gojo Ming forged a cursed tool called Zanpakudo. This cursed tool can release powerful spells and unique jujutsu, which will set off a new wave of cursed tool in the future. During this week, they also expected Gojo Ming to forge a similar cursed tool so that they could feast their eyes on it. However, to their surprise, Gojo Ming blew up the forging house 5 times this week and failed to forge a new cursed tool again. So, this time, they finally have a chance. They want to see cursed tool, which the owner calls epic making significance. Everyone at the scene has different purposes, but everyone knows that this duel is likely to affect the pattern of the big 3 sorcerer families. Ling Wu, Shu Baishui. At the beginning of the duel, Gojo Naru had already completed Soda Shirayuki's first solution. In his plan, he was preparing to use Soda Shirayuki's power to instantly kill Zenin Shinsuke. Although he is not very afraid of Jujutsu with heavenly restriction, he still hopes for a quick victory. After all, the ultimate goal of getting rid of Zenin Shinsuke is just to establish friendship with Zenin Shinji. The snow seems to be getting heavier. Okatsu looked up at the sky and said this subconsciously. Later, when the amount of flying snow in the sky suddenly increased, the audience realized the true power of Soda Shirayuki. Zenin Shinsuke, standing opposite Gojo Naru, is the person most directly affected by Soda Shirayuki. As he continued to release jujutsu that belonged exclusively to the Zenin family, Zenin Shinsuke realized that under the influence of Soda Shirayuki, he had already fallen into Gojo Ming's trap. The first dance Yubai. With Gojo's low shout, a snowfall soaring into the sky appeared out of thin air, completely freezing Zenin Shinsuke. Originally, what everyone thought was a crushing battle ended unexpectedly like this. The whole process was indeed a crushing one, but everyone guessed wrong about the side being crushed. Zenin's Kilin was unable to fight back under Gojo Ming's cursed tool. As a witness, Zenin fan's expression was a little ugly, Gojo's expression was a little playful, and Ieri's expression was full of shock. Although Zenin Shan didn't care about Zenin Shinsuke, he still recognized Zenin Shinsuke's strength. He could accept that Zenin Shinsuke lost to Gojo's 6 eyes, but he never thought that Zenin Shinsuke would lose to a fake 6 eyes without any magical power. Gojo Shangyan had already heard about Gojo's Zanpakudo's abilities before, so he always had confidence in his heart and wanted to truly experience the cursed tool of this so-called Zanpakudo. Now that I really saw it, I began to covet the Zanpakudo in my heart. The shock on Jia Inagwang's face was undisguised. He was really shocked by the cursed tool in Gojo Ming's hand. Anyone with a discerning eye can see that the biggest reason Gojo Ming was able to defeat Zenin Shinsuke so easily was because of the cursed tool in his hand. Ieri was shocked by the power of this cursed tool. At the same time, he was very curious as to why the cursed tool in Gojo Ming's hand could release such a powerful spell. As witnesses, the 3 of them cannot express their emotions casually. However, those watching the duel on the sidelines were completely stunned by the Soda Shirayuki in Gojo Naru's hand. This cursed tool is really beautiful. Why have I never heard of such a cursed tool before? How did Gojo Ming turn this weapon into pure white just now? Close black lens bracket. Gojo Ming called out the name of this cursed tool just now, right? It seems to be something, Soda Shirayuki. Close black lens bracket. Well, not only are the weapons beautiful, but even the names are beautiful. Close black lens bracket. Ieri Shoko looked at Gojo Naru blankly, her mind completely attracted by the soda Shirayuki in Gojo Naru's hand. Girls are always irresistible to beautiful things. If possible, she would also like a cursed tool as beautiful as soda Shirayuki. As expected, there is no magic power at all, and the heavenly restriction on Gojo Ming does exist. Close black lens bracket. I originally thought that Gojo Naru possesses 6 eyes and can break the shackles of heavenly restriction. Unexpectedly, this Zenin Shinsuke only forced out Gojo Narumi's cursed tool. Close black lens bracket. However, this also proves the background of the Gojo family. Close black lens bracket. Okatsu Yugi clearly felt the power of Gojo's empty spell in his body, and his heart was filled with shock. It was hard for him to imagine that a person without cursing power could use such a powerful spell just by relying on the cursed tool. Since there is no curse, this means that the ice and snow spell just released comes entirely from this cursed tool. The Gojo family truly deserves to be the family that gave birth to 6 eyes, and 6 eyes deserves to be a mythical existence. Is it because of having 6 eyes that Gojo Ming has such a powerful ability to control the cursed tool? Okatsu visitors can only have various speculations in their minds, but the only thing that has not changed is that Gojo's 6 eyes are really strong. Sure enough, the head of the family's decision was correct. If he had trusted the Gemini curse back then, the Gojo family would have definitely suffered huge losses. Close black lens bracket. Since the head of the family has now included Gojo Ming in the assessment of heir, we should also show our sincerity. Close black lens bracket. The elders of the Gojo family were completely satisfied. They had been shocked by the rumored snow waterfall before, but now, they finally saw the existence of this snow waterfall for real. Knowing that this cursed tool is closely related to Gojo Ming, they feel that Gojo Ming's future is limitless. This cursed tool only appears in the hands of an ordinary person who cannot use magic power, but it already has such great power. What if this cursed tool appears in the hands of a Jujutsu master? Isn't this equivalent to 2 Jujutsu divisions fighting together? I hope Gojo Ming can forge other cursed tools again. If this is the only Soda Shirayuki, it would be a pity for the entire Jujutsu world. It turns out that it was this cursed tool that made us lose Shunyi. Close black lens bracket. However, this cursed tool is really strong. It's hard to imagine that it was actually a cursed tool forged by a 6-year-old boy. Shunyi's defeat was not unjust. Close black lens bracket. Now Shunyi seems to have completely accepted Gojo Ming. This is really a betrayal to us. No matter how strong the cursed tool forged by Gojo Ming is, it cannot change that he is Master Satoru's twin curse. Close black lens bracket. If the Gojo family wants to develop better, we must clear the road in front of Master Wu. The members of Gojo's curse faction made no secret of their desire for Soda Shirayuki. In their opinion, Gojo Naru was just lucky enough to defeat Zenin Shinsuke with this special cursed tool. This special cursed tool is too much a waste on Gojo Ming. Such a cursed tool should be given to Gojo Satoru to use. Such a pure white sword and beautiful posture perfectly fit Master Gojo Satoru. However, for these people who already had prejudices in their hearts, they simply ignored Gojo Naru's face that was exactly the same as Gojo Satoru. I didn't expect, Gojo Naru, you actually used the cursed tool to get rid of Shinsuke. This is a bit beyond my expectations. Close black lens bracket. As the owner of Heavenly Restriction, are you developing the power of your body now? Close black lens bracket. I have to say that the path you chose is very correct. Cursed tool is a good thing. It seems that I should collect some cursed tool in the future. Close black lens bracket. Zenin narrowed his eyes and looked at Gojo Ming in the school grounds. Through the battle just now, everyone knows that the cursed tool in Gojo Ming's hand is very powerful, but only he knows that Gojo Ming's body is definitely also very powerful. Even if Gojo Naru didn't use this cursed tool to instantly kill Zenin Shinsuke, the 6-year-old Gojo Naru would have been able to defeat Zenin Shinsuke, who underestimated his opponent with just his physical strength. Do you want to be my friend? Gojo Ming, I recognize you. Close black lens bracket. Zenin turned around with a smile and left, feeling a twisted sense of evil in his heart about his new friend. Perhaps, having this special cursed tool in your hands is the most suitable one. The onlookers each had their own emotions in their hearts, but in the end, everyone's emotions converged into the same one. With 2 six eyes at the same time, in the future, the Jujutsu world may be respected by the Gojo family. Kuriner, the younger generation of the Zenin family, lost to Gojo Ming of the pseudo 6 eyes. This meant that the Zenin family had already lost one person before Gojo Satoru took action. Obviously, in terms of future potential, the Zenin family can no longer compete with the Gojo family, which has 2 six eyes. As for the Kamo family, another one of the big 3 sorcerer families, it was very difficult for them to even give birth to a magician who could master the red blood magic. If such a family continues to develop like this, it is possible that it will disappear completely in a few generations. Sure enough, if you want better development in the future, it is most realistic to embrace the Gojo family. The Gojo family with 2 six eyes should no longer be on par with the Zenin family and the Kamo family at this time. The Gojo family should be the most powerful sorcerer family in the entire Jujutsu world. Moreover, the Gojo family also controls the mysterious cursed tool in Gojo Ming's hand. We must get the source of this mysterious cursed tool from the Gojo family. If this mysterious cursed tool only belongs to the Gojo family, then the Gojo family may be able to directly and completely rule the Jujutsu world. When people with evil intentions began to investigate the forger of the cursed tool, they all got a fact that they couldn't believe at all. The forger of this cursed tool turned out to be Gojo Ming. How could it be possible? Gojo Ming was only 6 years old at this time, but he was already able to forge cursed tool. Moreover, the most terrifying thing is that the cursed tool forged by Gojo Ming actually has such a mysterious ability to change forms. At the same time, there is such a weird and strange mysterious magic power inside this cursed tool, as well as a unique technique that has never appeared in the entire Jujutsu world. The first dance Yubai. Everyone can clearly remember the name of this technique. This unique frost technique will definitely be engraved in the history of the Jujutsu world. At this moment, everyone wants to snatch people like Gojo Ming home. An existence like Gojo Satoru cannot be copied at all. With 6 eyes and the incredible talent of a Jujutsu master, he is destined to become the strongest Jujutsu master in the future. However, existences like Gojo Ming are replicable. As long as Gojo Naru continues to forge cursed tools like Sota Shirayuki, then he can quickly increase the strength of some families in a short period of time. Gojo Satoru, Gojo Hoot. This pair of 6 eyes twins is so terrifying. The party held at Gojo's house came to an end. After confirming that Zenin Shinsuke lost his combat effectiveness due to the freeze of Hatsu no Mai Sekishiro, Zenin Fan announced that this time the duel was won by Gojo Ming, and at the same time, he took action to rescue Zenin Shinsuke. Afterwards, the Zenin family, who felt very humiliated, did not stay at Gojo's house and quickly left the Gojo's house. When Gojo Ming came to his senses, he could no longer find Zenin's existence. Alas, the most important goal was not achieved this time. I don't know if Zenin has accepted my friendship with Satoru. Close black lens bracket. Forget it, Janur may have left, let's take Satoru to make friends with future teammates first. Close black lens bracket. Gojo Ming and Gojo Satoru found Ieri Shoko and Okatsu Yurito. At Shoko's request, can you touch Sota Shirayuki? The 4 successfully exchanged friendship. These are all connections. The future #1 wet nurse and the future father of a top-level Jujutsu master are currently involved in Gojo Naru's network. No matter what, this gathering was a fruitful one for Gojo Ming. Ming, this event is really boring. Gojo Satoru and Gojo Naru were walking on the path back, and Gojo Satoru, who had been making soy sauce throughout the entire event, complained out of boredom. He felt that this time Gojo Ming was so popular that he should also show off. At this moment, he regretted giving up Zenin Shinsuke as his opponent to Gojo Naru. This kind of activity wouldn't be much fun, but fortunately we made a few new friends, right? Okatsu Yugito and Ieri Shoko, Satoru, you have to cherish these friends. Gojo Ming keeps hinting at Gojo Satoru, and he doesn't want Gojo Satoru to become a lone ranger in the future. Things like partners may not sometimes improve people's strength, but many times, they can bring psychological comfort to people. In the future, Gojo Satoru will meet Sha Yuji, will meet Ieri Shoko again, and will meet the very upright teacher Yaga Masamiki. These partners will be an indispensable part of Gojo Satoru's growth path. Perhaps, Gojo Satoru can learn to cooperate with his companions soon instead of relying solely on his own strength. Then, many tragic things may be changed, right? Okay, I get it. Ming, you are really nagging now. Gojo Satoru shrugged, glanced at Gojo Ming, raised his eyebrows slightly, and said teasingly. However, I remember that your real goal this time is not to get acquainted with Shoko and Yugito, right? I remember that your real goal is the heavenly restriction carrier of the Zenin family, right? What, you actively wanted to be the other person's friend, and then you were rejected. Gojo Satoru's teasing made Gojo Ming feel a little unhappy. Goyoru let out a long sigh. This time it seems that I haven't been able to create enough bonds with the sky and the tyrant. Although he defeated Zenin Shinsuke, it was a relief for Zenin Shear, but no one could tell whether Zenin Shear would recognize him because of this incident. It's okay, Satoru. Believe me, this Zenin will definitely be one of the strong men in the future. Satoru, if you are not careful enough in the future, even if you become the strongest Jujutsu master, you may not be able to defeat Zenin. In order to increase the attention of Gojo Satoru, Gojo Naru even started to spoil the future affairs between Gojo Satoru and Zenin Shiji. However, it is a pity that the frivolous Gojo Satoru did not take Gojo Ming's words to heart and seemed to just think that he was joking. Hey, I understand, don't worry. As long as you can make friends with him, Ming, I will definitely be able to become his friend. Gojo Satoru stretched out and hooked his right hand around Gojo Naru's neck. Shoko has touched your Soda Shirayuki, so there shouldn't be anything wrong with showing it to me, right? Gojo Satoru still likes Soda Shirayuki's Zanpakuto in his heart. He feels that if he can match Soda Shirayuki when releasing unlimited techniques, he will definitely become the most handsome boy in the Jujutsu world. Seeing that Gojo Satoru has always been obsessed with Soda Shirayuki in his hand, Gojo Ming was also very helpless. Okay, take it and take a look. Really, didn't I say that I would help you forge one again in the future? Are you so urgent now? Gojo Naru threw the Soda Shirayuki in his hand to Gojo Satoru, preparing to satisfy Gojo Satoru's current needs. However, the moment Soda Shirayuki left his right hand, Gojo Ming felt a strong sense of crisis. A black shadow suddenly appeared in front of Gojo Naruto and Gojo Satoru, and a strong arm stretched directly towards Soda Shirayuki. Obviously, this person's goal is not to assassinate, but to snatch Sho Shirayuki. Seeing this scene, Gojo Ming was very shocked. At the same time, the next second, Gojo Ming noticed the strong physical quality of the opponent. Zenin, it's you. Why are you still here? Gojo Ming asked loudly. After asking, Gojo Ming felt that what he asked was nonsense. Zenin's goal is already so clear, why do you still ask? The goal of this tyrant is Soda Shirayuki. Although Gojo Ming and Zenin Shiji are not enemies, and Zenin Shiji does not have much ill will, Gojo Ming still cannot let Zenin Shirei take Soda Shirayuki here. Therefore, the moment Zenin suddenly appeared, Gojo Naru immediately reached out to grab Soda Shirayuki. Fly, Soda Shirayuki. While grabbing Soda Shirayuki, Gojo shouted out the Hajime language. In an instant, Soda Shirayuki's appearance changed, and a white cloth band appeared on the handle of the knife. It was precisely because of this change that Gojo Ming was able to reach out and grab the cloth strap and pull Soda Shirayuki back. At the same time, Gojo Satoru used unlimited techniques to block Zenin. Ming, is this the friend you call? After blocking Zenin, Gojo Satoru's expression suddenly became confused. This is still the Gojo family's mansion. Why does the Zenin in front of him dare to attack the Gojo family directly? Moreover, the most important thing is that the man in front of him does not have any reaction of magic power. Why can he have such a powerful power? Young master, I really like your cursed tool. Don't you want to be friends with me? Let's use this cursed tool as proof of our friendship. The smile on Zenin's face was very strange. After his first miss, he jumped a few steps back and looked at Gojo Satoru and Gojo Ming. You guy, this is Ming's cursed tool, how could I give it to you? A trace of displeasure appeared on Gojo Satoru's face. However, the expression of Gojo Naru, who was holding Soda Shirayuki, had returned to calmness. He could feel that Zenin was not as eager for Sota Shirayuki as he said in his words. Everything Zenin said seems to be testing him and Gojo Satoru. Obviously, the future tyrant of heaven and earth wants to test his and Gojo Satoru's strength. Zenin even has the pride of the Zenin family. After all, even if Zenin Shinsuke is not as good as Gojo, it still represents the face of the Zenin family. Being killed instantly by Gojo Ming with the help of Sota Shirayuki, Zenin felt that he had to prove his strength in front of Gojo Ming. After all, dragons don't live with snakes. If the strengths of both parties are not equal enough, then such a friendship cannot last long. Moreover, Gojo Ming's use of cursed tool made Zenin think of a brand new path. Since Gojo Ming, who is the carrier of heavenly restriction, can use this special cursed tool, can he also use it himself? Zenin, who is more than 10 years older than Gojo Ming and Gojo Satoru, is at the peak of his physical condition at this time. Even though the two teenagers in front of him were both six eyes from the Gojo family, he still had the confidence in his heart to win the final victory. However, being in Gojo's house, since the first attack failed, it means that the follow-up will attract the attention of many people. Zenin felt a little regretful. He felt that the rest of the Gojo family would not give him a chance to fight the two six eyes. Everything was just as Zenin expected. In just a few seconds, the burst of Gojo Satoru's magic power had attracted many jujutsu masters from the Gojo family. Gojo Shunichi immediately came to Gojo Satoru and Gojo Ming's side, taking a defensive posture. At the same time, Ieri Shoko and Okatsu Yuri were also attracted by the fluctuation of Six Eyes' spell power and came nearby. Master Ming, Master Wu. Are you okay? Gojo Shunni's expression was a little nervous. Although he had lost his duty to protect Gojo Satoru before, he was still paying attention to the safety of Six Eyes. However, instead of only paying attention to Gojo Satoru before, he now also paid attention to Gojo Naruto and Gojo Satoru. Fine. Gojo shook his head and stared at Zenin. At this time, he also felt that the heavenly restriction in his body was about to move. The heavenly tyrant in front of him was the template for his future, and his heart longed for the confrontation with Zenin. Uncle Shun, next I want you to help me calm down the surroundings. Zenin is not even an enemy, but my friend. He wants to discuss everything with me and Satoru, so don't worry too much. Gojo's voice reached Shunni's ears, causing him to pause slightly. He had previously wondered whether it was the man in front of him who had no magic power that caused Gojo Satoru to burst out with unlimited spells. Now that it was proven from Gojo Ming's mouth, Gojo Shunni's heart was filled with shock. It shouldn't be. Gojo is just an ordinary person, a carrier of heavenly restriction. He doesn't have such a special cursed tool in Master Ming's hand. How could he force Master Wu to use the unlimited technique? What about the blocking ones? Close black lens bracket. An ordinary person without magic power can actually make Master Wu feel threatened. Close black lens bracket. Gojo Shunni's heart was in shock, but his face remained calm and he nodded slightly to Gojo Ming. After experiencing a bet with Gojo Ming before, Gojo immediately realized that Gojo Ming's logic in thinking about problems was very special, and he was also very mature in his behavior. Now that Gojo Ming has made this decision, then the Zenin in front of him should really be as Gojo Ming said, and there is no hostility. Maybe it's really just a fight between two friends. After all, the Zenin family and the Gojo family are both one of the three major families. There is no way the Zenin family would use direct descendants of their own family to attack the Gojo family's Six Eyes. But, are Master Gojo Ming and Zenin even friends? This word is really too abrupt when applied to a teenager and an adult. But thinking about Gojo Naru's mature character, Gojo Shunni felt that it was not impossible. Satoru, let me communicate with our new friends next. Gojo Naruto held Sota Shirayuki in his hand and patted Gojo Satoru's shoulder. This is a battle between two heavenly restrictions, and Gojo Satoru, the proud star of the Jujutsu world, has no need to be involved. Are you sure? Ming, don't underestimate him. Although he doesn't have any magic power, this person is really strong. Gojo Satoru looked suspicious. Although he also did not feel Zenin's hostility towards the two of them, it still seemed a bit too impolite to attack them suddenly like this. And Gojo Ming chose to take the initiative to deal with Zenin Shiji, and he didn't care much in his heart. He also believed that Gojo Ming, who had Soda Shirayuki, would not lose to Zenin Shiji. Yes, Satoru, this is a new friend testing my strength. It would be rude if I didn't respond. Gojo smiled and nodded. Besides, please help me suppress the situation around me. Maybe in the future, you may have to rely on Zenin for forging materials for your Zanpakuto. In the original world, Zenin had a lot of cursed tools. Perhaps, he had some special ways to obtain cursed tools. Gojo Naru's low words instantly made Gojo Satoru's face light up. Although he didn't understand why Gojo Naru said this, since it was related to his future Zanpakuto, everything could be compromised. Gojo Satoru took a deep look at Zenin, and stepped aside. While helping Gojo Ming suppress the scene, he also drove away some unimportant people who came to watch the excitement. Facing Gojo Ming's actions, Zenin narrowed his eyes and felt a little surprised. He didn't expect that Gojo Ming would make such a decision. What gave him the confidence to think that he could defeat himself? The corners of Zenin's mouth raised slightly. He felt that the child in front of him was really interesting. Even though Gojo Ming was already developing heavenly restriction to strengthen the body at this time, the age gap between the two people was irreparable. He has lived so many years longer than Gojo Naru, and his body has matured long ago. The human in front of him who is still in his infancy cannot be his opponent at all. As for the mysterious cursed tool Soda Shirayuki that Gojo Ming relies on, in Zenin's view, he has completely seen through this. As long as he escapes the technique in Soda Shirayuki, Gojo Ming will be a fish on the sword. Now that Gojo Ming has made this choice, let's use Gojo Ming's fiasco to prove that he has the strength to become his friend. The smile on Zenin's face began to turn cold, and the Soda Shirayuki in Gojo Naru's hand also began to exude a chill. Shoko, remember to stand back. The next battle will definitely be extraordinary. Okatsu Yugito on the side pulled Ieri Shoko behind him with concern. With so much magic power, he could feel how unusual the next battle between Gojo Ming and Zenin Shir would be. This is a battle in the world of Jujutsu, but the protagonist of this battle is not a Jujutsu master, but two owners of heavenly restriction who also have no magic power. Okatsu Yugi has a hunch in his heart that the next battle may affect the future pattern of the Jujutsu world. Yurito, I think Gojo Ming is in danger. The Zenin family member opposite is very strong. Gojo Ming may not be a match for him. A worried expression appeared on Ieri Shoko's face. She didn't want the friend she had just made to experience a disastrous failure. Yes, Zenin is a great threat, but Shoko, please also believe in Master Gojo Ming. I think Master Gojo Ming also has his own trump card. The previous Zenin Shinsuke did not force out Master Gojo Ming's trump cards. I believe that this time Zenin Jinner should be much better than that Zenin Shinsuke. He may be able to force out more of Gojo Ming's trump cards. Okatsu looked at the two not far away with great excitement, fearing that the world would not be in chaos and looking forward to the battle between the two. Is that really the case? Ieri Shoko's expression is still very solemn, but at this time, she can only silently follow the trend of this battle here. On the other side, Gojo Satoru and Gojo Shunichi were squatting on the ground in the same posture, waiting for the next development of the entire incident. As the cold wind blew by, everyone felt that the winter snow around them stagnated for a moment. The next second, a huge snowfall erupted from Zenin's place. Obviously, Gojo Ming took the lead, and it was an unexpected battle. If Zenin was hit by the snowfall, this battle might be over. The first dance Yubai. This time, Gojo Ming did not shout these words, but already released the corresponding move through Soda Shirayuki. This chant-free fighting method proves that Gojo Ming's control over Soda Shirayuki has been improved again. It's useless, Gojo Ming. As the carrier of heavenly restriction, you should know that my current speed is simply not something that your ice and snow can catch up with. Zenin's words were heard from all directions, which shocked the hearts of the people watching. They were shocked by Zenin's speed, and at the same time, they were shocked by why Zenin kept mentioning heavenly restriction. Isn't heavenly restriction a curse for Jujutsu masters? Why does it seem to be a special ability in the eyes of the two owners of heavenly restriction? Why should Gojo Ming know Zenin's speed? The surrounding onlookers were confused, but in the center of the battle, Zenin and Gojo knew the meaning of each other's words. Gojo Naru, you lose. As Zenin's voice reappeared, everyone's eyes were focused on Gojo Ming's back. At this moment, Zenin's figure has appeared behind Gojo Ming. No one will think that Zenin is talking nonsense. At such a speed that was completely impossible to detect with the naked eye, they had no idea how Gojo Ming would dodge Zenin's next attack. Even the Jujutsu masters at the scene were bringing themselves into Gojo Ming's position, thinking if they were suddenly approached by such an assassin, would they have a chance to survive? The answer is no. Even Okatsu Yurito, who has extremely powerful spell power, feels that he cannot take advantage of Zenin. The expression of Gojo Satoru on the side is also a bit solemn. He has unlimited magic skills and is confident that he can block Zenin's next attack. However, Gojo Ming does not have any magic power and cannot use unlimited magic skills. At this moment, his younger brother could only rely on Sota Shirayuki. It looks like it is about to fail. Gojo Satoru didn't want to see his brother's tragic defeat, so he stood up straight in an instant, ready to intervene to assist Gojo Ming. However, the moment Gojo Satoru stood up, he saw the corners of Gojo Ming's mouth raised slightly. This scene was very similar to the previous bet between Gojo Ming and Gojo Shunichi. It also made Gojo Satoru hesitate and did not take action immediately. At this moment, the change had already occurred. At the moment when everyone thought that Gojo Ming would be subdued, only Gojo Satoru discovered that the Zanpakuto Sota Shirayuki in his brother's hand had already been inserted into the ground. The moment Zenin Shear appeared, 4 swords appeared around Sota Shirayuki and were inserted directly into the ground at the same time. The cold air suddenly overflowed. Zenin's expression changed drastically. This was an ability that Gojo Ming had never shown before. Sure enough, this mysterious cursed tool did not only possess the same technique as before. Second Dance by Lien. As Gojo let out a low groan, the overflowing cold air condensed into a solid substance, turning into a huge avalanche that ejected from Sota Shirayuki's blade, directly covering Zenin. If Zenin doesn't give up the attack, he will definitely be attacked by Bai Lien. Gojo Ming had already observed Zenin's movement before. However, 6 eyes could observe it, but it didn't mean that his body could keep up with the reaction at this time. Therefore, Gojo Ming can only wait for work and use Sota Shirayuki's ability to defend and counterattack. The premise of all this is based on 6 Eyes' advanced observation of Zenin's moving direction. If he makes a slight mistake, Sota Shirayuki may not be able to keep up with Zenin Shear's movements. However, as Gojo Ming expected, although Zenin was extremely fast, he was still within the observation range of 6 eyes. As huge avalanches continued to appear, the entire Gojo family mansion was once again covered in ice and snow, and the snowflakes seemed to become bigger at this moment. Everyone at the scene subconsciously took a step back. They had no idea that this white cursed tool actually contained such a terrifying technique. The first dance Yubai. Second dance by Lien. The large-scale attack of this frost spell will not give those who are good at close combat any chance of survival. If you get close, you'll either be frozen or submerged by an avalanche. Such an attack completely subverts the daily Jujutsu battle. The onlookers around looked at the remnants of the avalanche, their eyes constantly searching. They also wanted to know whether Zenin Shear had also been submerged by this avalanche. Caught off guard by the attack, no one could believe that Zenin was able to dodge easily. However, everything once again exceeded the expectations of the onlookers. Under Caesar Wu Balian's offensive, Zenin successfully escaped by relying on his strong body and speed. In this way, Zenin stood aside, looking at Gojo Ming with his back leaning against the snow, his eyes full of excitement. Is this your cursed tool? Gojo Ming, I'm very happy. Is this what you made with your own hands? I'm very interested. Zenin shook his head and raised the corners of his mouth slightly. Gojo Ming, I approve of you. Originally, I wanted to measure the degree of awakening of your heavenly restriction, but now, I feel it is not necessary. If there is no difference between life and death, the fight between us is meaningless. I look forward to your future development. I will leave this cursed tool in your hands for the time being. Next time, I will come and see you again. At that time, I will decide who owns this Sota Shirayuki. Zenin laughed loudly and disappeared from everyone's sight in an instant. Everyone was left staring blankly at Gojo Ming, looking at the pure white Zanpakuto in his hand. Ming, this time you were in the limelight again. Unexpectedly, this Sota Shirayuki not only has the first dance technique, but also the second dance. Will there be a third technique? Close black lens bracket. Gojo Satoru touched his chin and looked at Soda Shirayuki with eyes filled with anticipation. He believed Gojo Ming's words very much. Since Gojo Ming agreed to forge a brand new Zanpakuto for himself, it seemed that he could look forward to it. And Ieri Shoko and Okatsu Yugito's shock at Soda Shirayuki has been completely engraved in their hearts. This cursed tool has completely subverted their understanding of cursed tool. Gojo Ming, who can forge this cursed tool, such a person is probably more important to the Jujutsu world than Gojo Satoru, right? Close black lens bracket. Although Ieri Shoko is young, some basic knowledge has already been formed. As a genius of reversal techniques, her understanding of cursed tool is far beyond that of ordinary Jujutsu masters. There is only one Gojo Satoru, which can increase the peak combat power of the entire Jujutsu world, but Gojo Ming's cursed tool is more than just one. If a cursed tool is equivalent to a first-level Jujutsu master, doesn't that mean that having Gojo Ming is equivalent to having a team of first-level Jujutsu masters? Everyone says that the holders of Heavenly Restriction are useless. Now, the appearance of Zenin and Gojo should break this conclusion, right? Heavenly Restriction. Is this definitely a curse and not a blessing? Close black lens bracket. Okatsu's eyes were shining, and he felt that this time, he came to Gojo's house. This is greater than what he gained from traveling around Neon. Six Eyes Twins, Heavenly Restriction, Mysterious Cursed Tool. This foundation of the Gojo family is probably extremely deep in the entire Jujutsu world. If they can fully control these three things, the Gojo family's dominance in the Jujutsu world may never be broken by any other family. However, thinking of this, Okatsu couldn't help but laugh. How can things like Six Eyes and Heavenly Restriction be something you can just get if you want to? This kind of thing is purely dependent on God's gift, and there is absolutely no possibility of duplication. Then, the only thing that can be copied seems to be Gojo Naru's mysterious cursed tool with many powerful techniques. Gemini. This kind of name, which is called curse in the ordinary Jujutsu master family, has such a powerful power in the Gojo family. As expected, things like curse are nothing more than human beings' own delusions. Perhaps, Gemini is the one who truly receives the blessing of the world's will. An idea came to Okatsu Yugito's mind that he would also give birth to twins in the future, and also give birth to babies as talented as Gojo Satoru and Gojo Ming. With the departure of Zenin, the lives of Gojo Satoru and Gojo Ming finally calmed down. The shock caused by Soda Shirayuki has caused many tribesmen who originally did not support Gojo Ming to have other ideas. At this time, they finally realized why the family leader was willing to support Gojo Ming's research on cursed tool forging. If Soda Shirayuki can really copy, no one could have imagined that Gojo Naru, a family outcast, could become a being that shocked the entire Jujutsu world. And, not with Six Eyes and the power of the curse, just with the mysterious cursed tool forged by it. Gojo's forge. Gojo Ming sent Gojo Satoru away and began to devote his energy to the forging of cursed tool again. Ever since he forged Soda Shirayuki, he had been unable to successfully forge the next Zanpakuto. Gojo Ming didn't know whether it was because there was a cool-down period for forging his Zanpakuto, or because he was missing something necessary. The second Zanpakuto never appeared, which made Gojo Ming very distressed. However, before he could figure out the forging process, Gojo Ming could only keep trying. Even in Gojo Ming's opinion, even if he can only forge a handful of Soda Shirayuki, it would be a huge improvement for him at present. And, at least, I have the 4 skills of slaying fists and walking ghosts. With these 4 skills practiced to the extreme, combined with Soda Shirayuki and Heavenly Restriction, I should be able to be considered the top in this world, right? Gojo calmed down his mind, stopped worrying about the Zanpakuto, and focused on the new friends he met today. The biggest gain today is probably the friendship gained from Zenin, right? Unexpectedly, at this time, Zenin was already a little abnormal. Close black lens bracket. At this age, Zenin Sheer already possesses such strong strength. If he waits until his body becomes stronger again, then no Jujutsu master may be able to stop Zenin. Close black lens bracket. It seems that this guy is really interested in my Soda Shirayuki. Originally, I was thinking about whether I could use a Zanpakuto to win him over. If the Zanpakuto cannot be forged in the future, this guy won't really come to steal his Soda Shirayuki, right? Close black lens bracket. This time, I was forced out of the second dance by Zenin, but fortunately, Soda Shirayuki's ability was strong enough. The third dance that comes later is not just a boast, and besides, Soda Shirayuki's ability is even stronger. Close black lens bracket. Even Zenin, the tyrant of heaven and earth, shouldn't be able to withstand the punishment of Baixia after the swastika is solved, right? Close black lens bracket. While Gojo Ming was forging, he was thinking about the impact on the future after this intersection with Zenin. Now Zenin has already recognized himself, which means that Gojo Satoru and Zenin may not have much conflict of interest in the future. At least they have themselves as a bridge in the middle. Judging from this situation, as long as Zenin does not take action, then the future astral body Riko Tenuchi should not die in the hands of Zenin. The concepts of Gojo Satoru and Shayuji should not be so strongly impacted, nor will it cause the two so-called strongest jujutsu masters to part ways. The changes in the future may be great, but for Gojo Ming, changing the future of Gojo Satoru and Shayuji is also something worth doing. Gojo Ming also knows that as long as Gojo Satoru and Shayuji continue to exorcise the cursed spirit in the future, their ideals will always be impacted accordingly. However, Gojo Ming still doesn't want the two of them to develop like the original work. If the future jujutsu world really needs change, then let him, an outsider, change the world. Gojo Ming has his own plan in mind. 1 month later. Forge house. Failed again. Well, it seems it failed again. That seems to be the case. 3 male voices sounded in the forge. Gojo's forehead was throbbing with veins and his expression was very unkind. In this month, Gojo Ming has forged cursed tool countless times. Not only has the Zanpakuto not been forged, but other ordinary cursed tools have not been shipped. This really made him wonder if there was something wrong with his system. On the side, Gojo Satoru, Zenin, and Gojo Takuya, the conversation between the three of them made Gojo lose all power. Otherwise, just give me your Soda Shirayuki. Anyway, you promised to forge a Zanpakuto for me before. If you really can't make it again, then you can just use Soda Shirayuki to make up for it. Zenin stretched out his body and touched Gojo Satoru's head out of boredom. He looked very lazy. Since the last party, Zenin had relied on Gojo Ming. After much hard work, Gojo Ming finally agreed to build an exclusive Zanpakuto for him. At the same time, in exchange, he will become a member of the stores established by Gojo Ming in the future. Before, Gojo Ming thought this deal was a good deal. He plans to set up a everything house, like Sakata Jintoki, specializing in bounties in the jujutsu world. At the same time, he will exorcise the cursed spirit and observe the operating rules of the entire jujutsu world. However, Gojo Ming did not expect that he would not forge a Zanpakuto for a month. This made the transaction between himself and Zenin very embarrassing. Sheer, I don't want you to be my clerk in the future. Cancel the transaction between us. Gojo Ming has been a little tired of Zenin recently, and his image of this future tyrant has been completely overturned. He had never thought that Zenin could be so rude. Obviously in the anime, he is an uncle who doesn't like to talk very much. Cancel the transaction. I don't agree with that. Zenin grinned, widened his eyes and laughed. I declare Gojo Ming that you have unilaterally breached the contract, and I want to collect liquidated damages. Well, let's use Soda Shirayuki to pay off the debt. This is pretty good. Not only do I not have to pay anything, but I can also get a piece of Bai Shui for free, which is great. Zenin gave Gojo Ming a thumbs up, which instantly made Gojo Ming feel a little autistic. On the other side, Gojo Satoru looked at the waist in Gojo Ming's hand, and his blue eyes were also full of smiles. Naruto, Soda Shirayuki can only belong to me. You promised to forge a Zanpakuto for me first, okay. This kind of thing has to be done on a first-come, first-served basis. I will be at least a week ahead of you. Gojo Satoru's tone was full of ridicule. He actually didn't have that much need for Zanpakuto, but he never wanted Gojo Ming to give up his research on forging methods. In Gojo Satoru's view, since Gojo Ming can forge a Soda Shirayuki, more Zanpakuto will definitely be forged in the future. However, Gojo Ming's confidence is not that full at this time. In this month, he has tried many times. Before, he had doubted whether he had not joined the cursed tool, so he specially applied for the cursed tool from the owner of the family as a test. Among this batch of cursed tools, there is even a first-level cursed tool. Even though many cursed tools were damaged, Gojo Ming still failed to forge a new Zanpakuto, which made the entire family doubt Gojo Ming's forging ability. The loss of this amount of cursed tool was a bit overwhelming for the Gojo family. As time went by, the already wavering neutral faction began to waver again. Previously, because of Soda Shirayuki, they sided with Gojo Ming, believing that Gojo Ming could help the Gojo family achieve a class leap. However, now, after this month, they have seen Gojo Ming's many failures, and their original support for Gojo Ming has been quietly withdrawn. Gojo Ming is just a flash in the pan, Soda Shirayuki is just an accidental creation. If cursed tool cannot be copied, then the support of the family owner will be meaningless, and we will not be able to invest resources in Gojo Ming. The appearance of Soda no Shirayuki allowed the curse faction, whose voice had weakened, to gain the upper hand again. After Xiong Yan, the leader of the curse faction, Gojo, heard the news, he first felt very sorry and felt that the Gojo family still lacked some luck. But then, he once again announced the theory of the curse faction, believing that Gojo Ming will indeed affect Gojo Satoru. Because of Soda Shirayuki's appearance, Gojo Satoru had slacked off in the practice of spells during this period, and spent the whole month wasting time with Zenin in Gojo Ming's forge. This is very detrimental to the future of the Gojo family. And after hearing the news that Gojo Ming's continuous forging failed, Zenin Shinsuke, who was instantly killed by Gojo Ming, was also very happy. A month ago, in full public view, I was instantly killed by the mysterious cursed tool Soda Shirayuki in the hands of Gojo Naru. This made him a disgrace not only to the Zenin family, but to the entire Jujutsu world. Although some people later spoke up for him, saying that Soda Shirayuki's ability was too shameless, but a loss was a loss. He, a formal Jujutsu master, lost to a person without magical power. Although his roots lie in Zanpakuto Soda Shirayuki, he has also become a stepping stone for Gojo Ming. A useless person without curse power can use this cursed tool to defeat himself. Doesn't it also mean that an ordinary person can also do such a thing? Zenin Shinsuke originally had no special feelings about Gojo's 6 eyes, but after experiencing the previous incident, Gojo Naru has completely become the object of Zenin Shinsuke's most dislike. At the same time, he also heard that Zenin, whom he hated the most at Zenin's house, had actually become friends with Gojo Ming, and he felt even more angry. Birds of a feather flock together. Trash is trash. 2 people without cursing power are just wasting their lives holding the cursed tool forged by chance. Zenin Shinsuke's expression was cold and he put more energy into jujutsu training. In Zenin Shinsuke's view, the previous failure was because he was not strong enough. If I had been a second-level jujutsu master, or even a first-level jujutsu master, no matter how powerful Soda Shirayuki's technique was, I should have been able to dodge it. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe.